All right. Well, I'm Christopher Herring with Global Chamber Texas. And I just have a great day because I'm talking to Jermeale Lewis-Johnson, who is a U.S. Customs broker. And, a part of March is Women's History Month. And I'm just trying to learn more about how did Jermeale get into being a U.S. Customs broker. She's located in New York, and she has quite a passion for what we do in Global Chamber. So, Jermeale, tell me about how you got to be a part of the U.S. Customs broker, and what is your motivation, because you're very motivated in this international space.
Well, I really wanted to change. Previously from doing airport security, I worked for TSA close to 10 years, and I was just looking for another opportunity. So I came in this industry as a temp, and I took advantage of every opportunity available. So the VP of the company did training, and I was like, okay, let me sign up for that. And I signed up, and I did a lot of studying, and I followed everything he told me to do. And I'm very lucky that I was able to pass my customs broker test the first time I took it.
Wow.
So I really enjoy the industry because there's always learning opportunities. So you never get bored.
You make a lot of connections within the organization, Global Chamber, and other organizations that you're part of. You're a connector. That's kind of how I perceive you.
Oh, yes. Yeah, so what I like about Global Chamber is that the warm introductions, that's my favorite part about it, because sometimes I feel like people don't speak to you unless they know you. So if someone refers you and like does the introduction, then they're more inclined to talk to you. So Cesar has been very beneficial to me in the industry, helping me connect with people that I would have probably not have known to speak to, or I didn't get to have a chance to speak to. Another thing that I needed a Canadian, I'm not a Canadian, an Argentinian customs broker. And I
Mhm.
reached out to Cesar. He did a great job of finding me a couple of customs brokers, and he translated for me. So that was great because I couldn't speak Spanish. So he helped out with that portion of it. And I just think I love the organization because I like the fact that they take networking very seriously, and they're facilitators and making those connections work for you and seeing who you want to connect with so they can further establish the connection for you. So you can get the full benefit of what Global Chamber is about. That's what I like about it.
Well, that's pretty cool. I mean, you're in New York, and I represent Austin, San Antonio, and Houston, and Houston is a big market like New York is. So when you're trying to navigate across New York, and you're from New York,
Yeah.
that can be complicated all by itself.
Yes. I still use a map.
With and I see a lot of words next to you, customs clearance, HTS classification. So these are all the things in which you have to know about in order to move goods across the world, right?
Of course, yes. Yeah, I actually do training like on HTS classification. I have a class right now. I'm teaching someone how to classify goods for importing and exporting. So she's getting hands-on experience. I'm explaining things. She has homework to do. So I hope she's doing it right now. But I told her I'm going to check it. So she has homework to do. I'm teaching her how to classify. So she has a lot of material to look over. She was in my webinar earlier this week as well. Yeah, so I like teaching. I like the customs clearance process. I love coming up with solutions because there's always problems. So I like coming up with solutions, trying to solve those problems that people have, and trying to make it a smoother process for next time. So figuring out what went wrong, so hopefully we can avoid it the next time. So there's a
Okay.
lot of issues.
There's a lot of issues. Like typically, I think that we probably learned about the global supply chain and global supply chain management when the failures occurred, right? And it wasn't the failures that we knew were failures. It was just the fact that various countries stopped being able to ship, and there were waterways that were blocked because of various countries not getting along. I mean, tell us how that all worked out, because COVID-19 was really a defining moment. I don't know if you were in the industry during COVID-19, but we've just seen a whole lot of appreciation for what you do and others that work with the supply and the goods and services.
Yeah, there was a lot of issues with containers being stuck on the water because they couldn't dock. So those issues, skyrocketing pricing with freight forwarding went up really high. Shipments being delayed so badly, and then truckers running out, can't find a trucker sometimes, or you can't find a chassis to pick up the container. It was a lot of problems. I even had one of my shipments, I had a trucker couldn't pick it up at the port anymore after I already secured him as a trucker. And I had to scramble to find another trucker last minute. So the price went up because we were getting a last minute shipment and need to be picked up because there was already storage that we paid and we didn't want to pay anymore. So it was a lot of problems, but of course we got through it. So hopefully it doesn't happen again. Hopefully we're good now.
I think we just, like I said, I think we have a better appreciation, right? Because we know that these things can happen. And then, you talk about the port, like, so New York, you have a port, you have water port, you have airports, and most people don't realize the complexity of all that you have to juggle. Will you tell us more about that complexity?
Yeah, it depends on the commodity. Sometimes just trying to juggle if you need to schedule an exam. I used to clear a lot of plants, so I would have to coordinate in advance to get like the transfer stamp so I can get it coordinated for pickup with the trucker and then to drop it off before the plant inspection station closes. There's a lot of coordination that goes on in the industry depending on what you're doing. And you want to avoid storage fees, so we got to get the goods cleared within a certain time frame, 2 days usually for airports, just to make sure you don't get storage. So it's just constantly, okay, you got to monitor it. So like, when is it getting picked up? Contacting the trucker. Did it get delivered? Is there any problems with delivery? Did it get destroyed or anything before you delivered it? So we can cover ourselves. A lot of problems.
It's interesting. So San Antonio, Texas is right next to Mexico, of course. And when I used to grow up, we used to have this thing about tequila. Tequila used to have a worm in it, right? But I've
Oh, yeah.
learned since being here and learned more from customs brokers about how the worm actually is no longer really the main attraction with tequila, because you not only have to have the regulation that goes along with just the tequila, but then the worm is its own enemy, I guess, to have to classify, right?
Hmm. I never experienced that yet, but maybe in the future we'll see what happens. I'll
Well,
prepare myself.
yeah, I'm pretty old now, right? But back in the day, tequila used to always have the worm, but today they
I remember.
don't. Yeah, we could probably Google search it or do an AI search, and it'll tell us all about why the tequila really doesn't promote the worm as much as it used to back in the 70s, 80s, 90s. But anyway, who
They'll probably
motivated
bring
you? Huh?
it. They always bring things back from back in the day, and it pops out, and everyone thinks it's new.
Who motivated you to go into this field that you're in?
No one really motivated. I just wanted to. Wanted to stop doing airport security, so I was like, hey, I want to do something else. So I was just looking around. Honestly, I was just looking on Indeed, and I came across a job in the industry, and I just applied. So it wasn't something expected. I never even knew about the industry, to be honest with you.
Okay, okay. Do you have any women in your life that you look up to when you think about Women's History Month and the contributions of women all around the world?
Of course. I think of my grandmother, my paternal grandmother. She is an amazing woman, a businesswoman. She's had multiple businesses, restaurants. She's used to do like baby nurse, so she used to go by people's house and watch their kids while they were working. I've been with her before. She can do everything. She can crochet, she can sew. She cooks amazing food, by the way, which I'm trying to get her to ship up to New York, but she won't do it.
Maybe
Man, I'm
she
gonna send this
will.
to her.
You're giving her a shout out, so maybe she will.
I want my food. Yeah, but she's pretty amazing. So I would say her. She motivates me. Every once in a while I talk to her about my struggles in the industry, and she believes in me. So I'm like, I appreciate it. If she believes in me, I know I could do it.
Well, that's what we have in common, because I had a previous interview for Women's International Women's Day, and I had opened up my show basically saying that my mother was my hero, the person who I looked up to, that made the difference, the one who made sure that everything was taken care of. She worked and she had her own business in her later days in life, selling church hats because that's what we do. And yeah, so that's a person who greatly impacted me. Um, how do people find you in your business? Do they just look you up in the yellow pages, or do they do Google searches? How do they find you?
Most definitely, you can check out my website, justourbroker.com. You can find me on LinkedIn under my name, Jermeale Lewis-Johnson. I'm on Instagram too, my business, Just Your Broker. You'll see plenty of stuff just by looking at the company name and my website.
Hey, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And again, you are part of the Global Chamber New York. You're on the
Yes,
board.
part of it. Yes.
Yeah. So again, I think as we move forward, hopefully we can have like maybe a meetup between Houston and New York. That would be great, just to be able to bring
Oh,
our
yeah.
two big markets together. Um, and then you also participate. Do you participate in any other parts of Global Chamber in terms of online women's events or various committees in which they may have?
Um, I haven't done too much yet. I did do a webinar last month with Global Chamber Chicago. We spoke about I forgot the exact title. It was opportunities with African trade, and I
Yeah.
spoke a little bit about issues that was happening with clients that I had that imported from Africa. I think it was both of them were Nigerian shipments, and we talked about the issues. That's on the Global Chamber YouTube page. You guys can check that out.
Yeah, you have to subscribe to the Global Chamber YouTube page. I subscribe, you subscribe. We want everyone to subscribe. It's definitely where you're going to get the latest and greatest when we talk about issues like the global supply chain, when we talk about international business, global trade. We talk about entrepreneurs trying to expand and grow your business. And in order to do that, you have to be with experts like Jermeale, who can actually teach you the rules of engagement, how things really work. Is very, very important. And you also said earlier that you do a lot of networking with Doug Brunke, our CEO and founder. He really did create a dope platform, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and Doug used to be on Clubhouse together. We've done rooms on there. I know he's been doing stuff on LinkedIn. I had to hit the bell so I can get all his notifications. I was like, I was missing a lot of things. So now I'm gonna see if I can get on more things that Doug is posting on his LinkedIn page. I just gotta coordinate my schedule, of course, because sometimes it's not enough time in the day.
Yeah, now that's true. And impressively on globalchamber.org on our events page, you can see all the formal chamber events that are happening all over the world, but also we're very social media friendly and active. And I see Jermeale posting all the time herself. She's liking stuff. She's engaging with the community. And you were just sharing with me as my parting question, if you're in this global space, what types of social media other links should we be thinking about? I mean, I know Global Chambers one, but you shared one with me, the Happy Neighborhood Project. And so tell us more because you're a connector.
So Happy Neighborhood Project is a free platform for networking. I came across it during the pandemic, and I was able to meet more people. I don't think they still have it, but they have before they at least had a chapter in India, a chapter in Europe, so multiple chapters all over the U.S. So it's a great platform just to check out and connect with people. I've told plenty of people if you have a physical product, it's all on Zoom, go on there and show your product so people can see what you're selling, and then they can refer you to other people that want to do business with you. So I still think it's a great platform. I just haven't had the time, but I think it's a great platform. So I'm always telling people, go join, check it out. It worked for me. And I met connections that I worked with. I met a freight forwarder through Happy Neighborhood Project, which a freight forwarder and customs broker always works together. So you want to go places where you can find people. And luckily, I was able to find it. I never thought I would find one. I found one through Happy Neighborhood Project. Check that out. Another one that I've been doing networking with OIT, Organization of Women in International Trade. I'm part of the New York chapter. So there's plenty of people you can connect with there. There's chapters, an international chapter. There's chapters in other countries. There's chapters in the U.S. in different states. check that out too. It's all about connections and meeting the right people. And if you're dealing with international trade, it's an international trade organization, so it's perfect for you to be in that one. I always tell people just look on LinkedIn, go in those groups, those supply chain groups, check out all those things. There's a lot of resources out here. You just have to find them. So I try to be active as much as I can on LinkedIn, and also handling the business side of everything. But going to events in person, sometimes if you don't go in person, people don't want to feel connected to you unless they meet you in person. So try to go to events in person and still do your networking virtually. Do it both so you can meet more people.
So do you find, because I said my last question was my last question, but this is my last question. Do you find that doing what you do, that there are many women that are actually in this industry, or is it pretty male dominated?
I would say it's still pretty male dominated, but there are a lot of women in this industry. So I've met plenty of women, especially through OIT. It's pretty much all women, even though men can join too. I always tell people, you guys can still join. But it's predominantly a women's organization. But it's you can meet plenty of women in the industry, plenty of women business owners in the industry, customs brokers, international trade lawyers. There's so many of them out there. You just got to find them, and they're available to you right on LinkedIn and everywhere, doing webinars like myself.
Do you make big money doing what you do?
I think you can. I'm still working on building up mine, but you can most definitely make a lot. That's why I'm going to more places in person. You can make a lot of money. It requires time. As long as you're educated and you can help solve problems, people will always want to work with you. So I get referrals based on that, and I ask them when I'm done. I'm like, "Can you leave me a Google review?" So it can help my business grow more. But yeah, it's all about who you know. So network a lot, like in Global Chamber. Join these organizations, do a lot of networking, meet the right people, and know the industry that you're in. You can educate plenty of people. People pay for knowledge, so if you can help save them money, they're gonna pay you.
Okay. On that note, thank you for this time. Glad that we had a chance to talk about what you do, because when people look at that U.S. customs broker, they're like, "Oh my goodness, she does something really important," and she does. So thank you so much, Jermeale. And we're gonna do this again with I'm gonna get you in on a panel discussion the next time, because you're
Okay,
good.
great.